Thank you so much for staying tuned. You can even hear the voices. Yes, it's all about a live studio because they're really itching and eager to say one or two things about the situation. Hashtag ENDSARS protest. And of course, is restructuring a way out. With me here in the studio, I have two vibrant youths. Yes, when I mean youths, they're really vibrant and they are political analysts. Join me to welcome Samuel Ehigiato, a.k.a. Aras. Samuel, welcome to TMI, Sunday's edition. Appreciate your coming.
Good morning, Wilson. And good morning, the viewers.
And of course, Stanley Osaze, yes, a political analyst, and of course, a vibrant youth star. Welcome to TMI, Sunday's edition. There's one name, Osakonukwodi, right? yeah, quite lengthy to pronounce. Yeah, thank you so much for coming. ENDSARS protest aftermaths. Nigerians are giving suggestions on how this can be resolved completely to prevent it from resurfacing. And they are hammering on restructuring. But I said, look, we'll forget about that big grand restructuring. Just say, do things well.
Right.
Yes, the protests and all that. Samuel, take it up from there.
Well, Wilson, it has been a long-awaited protest. A long-awaited revolution. Yeah. Why? Because it has been long, they said the youth are the leaders of tomorrow, and it looks like the youth forgot themselves. For forgetting themselves, the leaders continue to lead. Whether good way or bad way, they had no voice. But I think they have woken up to their responsibility to say, yes, we the leaders of tomorrow, we want a better Nigerian tomorrow for us and for our children. So they now have woken up and decided to meet up with the government, challenge the government. In the first place, I said it is the right thing, the peaceful protest. I appreciated it, I monitored it, I followed it up from my own place, and I loved what was happening. But where I feel they got it wrong, the youths who were peacefully protesting, was giving the opportunity to the hoodlums to hijack their peaceful and their good agitations. That was where there was a mix-up somewhere. But I thank God we have seen what has been happening, because I experienced one personally. That was on Monday. It's a day I will never forget, at Airport Road. The youth from our communities, they were dancing, protesting peacefully, cooking, playing music. Everybody was feeling fine at that junction. For like 3 to 4 hours, there was no problem, there was no gunshot, there was no issue. Until I was standing in front of my office after rescuing my daughter from the prison school. I was standing in front of my office when we saw these hoodlums with machetes, with stake, with AK-47 in their shoulder, pump actions, marching down towards the prison. We now got the information that the Saple prison has been broken, that they are now coming to Oko prison. For me, I believe there was a miscontact between the government and the people, the government and the security agency. Because when they came, we saw the mood they came that this was not protesters. These were really habitual criminals. They drove our community people that were peacefully protesting from the road away. Those who ran for their dear life. The peaceful protesters ran for their dear life. Then you saw the way they marched to the prison. Shooting started everywhere. Gunshot everywhere.
To life experience you're giving right now.
Yes, a direct personal experience, we say. That within the next 5-10 minutes, I believe I have to give kudos to the prison armed guards. I have to give kudos. They deserve to be honored because they held these people for more than 3 hours not to be able to escape. We saw them. They got them resisted. We heard them even making call. Ammunition, we need ammunition, we need ammunition, we need backup. We need backup. But when we now saw sometimes, we saw some soldiers coming from Ring Road side towards that side. We now saw, rescue. They're not going to succeed. My brother, the soldiers, they passed their home and went straight to where they were going. When those ones saw that the soldiers was not able to obstruct them, because there was no police anywhere to be found, it was only soldiers we were seeing passing by. What do they have? No more fear. They now face the gate and bust the gate. Before we knew, prisoners were rushing out, condemned prisoners, hardened criminals, because Oko prison is known for having more than 100 condemned criminals.
Right.
And habitual criminals.
All right.
We all read free. There, I asked one question. Where was our government? They cannot tell me they were not aware through intelligence reports of the prison break. If not intelligence report, after the first prison break at Sapler Road, I expected the government to secure every other government parastatal institutions.
And they did that afterwards.
Listen to me, listen. If it was done, how was Oko prison destroyed?
Okay.
If it was done, how was NNPC at Sapler Road burned down after Sapler prison had been broken?
Okay.
If it was done, how did NDLA office was burned down? If it was done, how did other custom office burn down?
Okay.
If it was done, how did 6 police stations burn down? Sir, I am very, very disappointed.
Okay, you just
I have pains in me because from what I saw, the government is not at hand. Okay. It is not about Edo State government. We saw what also happened in Lagos State.
Okay, all right.
We saw what happened in other states.
I'll come back to you. The
governments were not at hand.
I'll come back to you, Samuel.
They came too late to their responsibility.
I'll come back to you, Samuel. Now, he just gave an encounter, his experience, what he saw firsthand. Nobody told him was there while it was happening. What do you have to say about this? Say people were like, protesting peacefully until another group came in and the story changed.
I just want to be very, very careful not to say what exactly is on my mind. For the purpose of not inciting the public, let me just modulate my statement.
Please do.
But as far as I'm concerned, I do not see any hoodlum activities in this protest. Sorry to say. Apart from
hold on. He has the floor.
Apart from the attack on the prison, which the dates were of the same line, the federal government should explain to us what actually happened. Now, Mr. Arasu was on ground, saw the military passing. None of them intervened. I'm coming. So which simply means that I have said it before now. For those who are following me on social media, I said the government should come and explain to us what actually happened. And beyond that, why did I say I have not seen anything related to hoodlum activities? Very firstly, since the advent of this nation, our youth have been saying, we not agree. We not agree. Normal protest. They will say we love the way they condemn themselves. They conducted themselves peacefully. Yes. After like 2-3 days, they will go inside. The injustice continues. There are times when you push people to the wall. They have no other option than to reverse back. Have you ever seen a protest where people will be cooking on the road before? No. It came into being recently because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And I strongly believe that before the grand finale of the protest, the army announced an operation nationwide, talking about countering propaganda on social media. So to me, I strongly believe that the issue of rape, this and that, was part of the propaganda that is sold to the public. Sorry to say I'm not targeting the army, but I, for one, I will not deceive anybody. If I say I did not support this protest, I'm a liar. I love it. Because if this kind of protests have been happening in the past, this country will not be the same again. We are fighting for the betterment for our nation. Nobody wants to die. Do you know that so many persons died and you feel that this death will go for nothing? The government has said today. Have you ever seen both ITV, EBS, AIT, TVC, channels, NTA, Everybody is discussing about the youth. Has it ever happened before in this country? To the extent that the president summoned a meeting involving past president. Has it ever happened before because of the youth? This is an ample opportunity. It has happened, it has happened. Now we are gradually seeing relative peace. Peace is gradually coming into being. It is not left for the government to begin to do what it is. You know the beautiful part of this all activities? It's very clear. As of today, it will not be difficult again to mobilize Nigerians. Just like this, Nigerians will come out again. Because it is difficult to start. It has already started. Now it's for you to just say, we are tired. Nigerians, they will run out. It has never happened before. So nobody will come to say, I have never witnessed the gross injustice in this nation. Now let me give you a classical example with all due respect. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria does not give room to resource control, isn't it? But a man in Zamfara State has a right to his gold. But the man in Niger Delta have no right to his crude oil. When it comes to Niger Delta, it is a national resources. When it comes to Zamfara, it is the state resources.
But right now, they've just against that already. The federal government is into that problem already.
If not because of the armed banditry,
yes.
Will you ever know that there was gold in Zamfara State? The answer is no. Mr. Wilson, I want to state this clearly. I said from the initial stage that I am going to modulate my discussion. If you give me the opportunity to actually speak my mind, this is not what is on my mind. It is even hotter than this, but let me just accept it the way it is. So what I'm saying in nutshell, and I can assure you that I will be very careful because of the NCD.
The rules governing the
airways. Because of the rules governing the airways, so that your station will not be sanctioned. If I'm on my Facebook handle, I won't prevent myself. I will speak everything.
All right.
So, in a nutshell, you don't. When you say all right, it's like you are shouting me.
Please,
because
Uncle.
Aras has more minutes than me. Let me speak.
Please speak. Uncle.
Now,
yes,
what
Uncle.
I'm saying in a nutshell is this. With all due respect, in this country today, nobody will say that Nigerians are happy. If not until recently, despite the fact that we have hiccups in terms of political activity in our state, because there must be opposition, it's normal. We've never seen good governance such as this, apart from that's why there are some reservations under the Oshomole administration who will agree. Forget about party affiliation. I'm here to tell you the simple truth. These are the only governments that have stood firmly to defend the interest of Edo people. Here is not time for us to play politics. Let's say the truth. Now, as of today, do you know that there was a time I was already getting tired of education? Even in my year school, they are celebrating. And Ras is here today.
Could you please interpret that? Okay. Because for
people that did not go to school, no handwork, they are celebrating all type of work. Even some of them have ATM machine, money counting machine in their various offices. The likes of Ras is busy managing one store or one business, which fluctuates. At times it goes front, at times it falls back. No single intervention from anybody. But this set of people celebrate. I was almost tired. I said, if which I knew, the time I used to find myself in the alma mater, I ought to have used it to follow the street. Maybe by now, I would have been one of the great men of inestimable value. But as of today, I am not being seen because of my education as a limited personality. So in a nutshell, ipso facto, believe you me, I did not see any hoodlum activity apart from the prison break.
Okay.
The rest,
all right.
It's normal.
Thank you so much.
Let me round up.
Please, Uncle.
Yes, you can. I want to submit, sir.
Yes, submit.
You cannot be comfortable while stealing the public wealth.
Okay.
You will be comfortable while stealing public wealth.
All right.
And you expect people to remain mute.
All right.
No,
all right. Now, folks, you've seen it's two different stories. One is like, an eyewitness saying this was what he saw. They just happened with the prison break. It was just normal. Now, do you think that you really quell this agitation? Because right now, thank God, like what you rightly said, peace and normalcy is beginning to return gradually. Is restructuring the way out of all this problem? Alas.
Wilson.
Yes.
When you people talk of restructuring, for me, I don't think restructuring Nigeria will bring a difference. The only thing I want us to do in Nigeria is that we have already a federalistic system. And the federalistic system is supposed to give each state its ample opportunity to develop its state, create its own wealth, and manage it, like in other developed countries. It is only a problem that because Nigeria, we are too used to waiting for the allocation from the federal government. The states are already so comfortable with it. Those are the issues we have. The state need to come out of their share, not share, to create their own personal wealth, not to rely on the federal government alone. Because if and as far to what really happened, so look at what happened recently with the palliatives. When the COVID-19 came, we heard how the federal government decided to disburse palliatives to the different 36 states in a mass, which we all heard, but at a certain time, few palliatives were shared, like a week, which I was here. I complained about the way it was shared, selectively. House without fence, house with fence, all those kind of things. We saw how it happens. Unfortunately, months has gone by now. The people are still hungry. Nobody cares about that. Nobody even cares how they're going to survive that lockdown. That is why. After the lockdown, the electoral process came also. So those states have been passing through a process. And then to come and realize that massive foodstuffs, massive drugs, massive gas cylinders that was supposed to be shared 3 years ago, if I'm not wrong. This gas was a project that was supposed to be shared 3 years ago. Those gas cylinders are still stuck in one place, and people are hungry. What restructuring do you want? Now the federal government has even taken care of you, brought you something to take care of your people. The states now are hoarding them. What explanation does any state governor in Nigeria have to give to us that a foodstuff that expires after 1 year, delivered months ago, it was not shared out, it was hoarded? For what? As a state reserve? Or as what? Or for what purpose was it hoarded? Can the governors, they should explain to us why those stuff were hoarded. They should explain to the federal government. We were thinking the federal government is the devil in this issue. Not knowing the state government, where the problem we were having. They got this thing and they don't give it out to the common man.
All right.
So there are a lot of things we're going to talk about.
Okay.
There are a lot of things that these protests have brought out. It is not just about politics. We should leave politics aside. We should not try to play politics. There's something I saw with my eyes, and somebody will tell me I did not see it. I have the video. So as if you want me to play the video where they were carrying AK-47 on their shoulder, carrying machete, oh, you are saying they are not hoodlums?
Okay, hold on.
Are those peaceful protesters?
Stand.
Will they take politics out of this issue?
Aras, you are a great man of
Let's take politics out of this issue.
Yes,
Aras,
play politics.
No, let's take politics out of this issue.
Samuel,
What we should know.
Watch your emotions.
This protest has brought a lot of things, an open eye.
Okay.
To the citizens.
Okay.
Has brought an open eye to the government as well. It is not just to the state governors, to the federal governors, and to the people. Because now, I believe anything comes up again as such.
Okay.
The people will also come out to ask
for
clearance.
Okay, thank you, Samuel. Now, Stan,
The
beautiful
part of it is
he
that
talked about the palliative measure. Okay,
the beautiful part of it,
yes.
the beautiful part of
that
it is
the states hoarded this palliative given by the federal government.
No reason.
My brother, Mr. Aras,
Let him react. Let him react. Go ahead.
Value. But the beautiful part of it is that you are coming out to say we should not play politics, but you are already playing politics. I will explain. Calm down. I listen to you. The first and foremost, Mr. Aras, when it comes to the issue of the prison break, the both of us told the same line. Before the discussion, we openly agreed. We saw a video where even the security agency was moving hoodlums. Protesters who protested for good 11 to 12 days without creating crisis. Are you not telling me that the same protesters created the crisis. It's just because of the fact that the government needs to explain.
People are jacked.
Now, the government needs to explain.
Yes.
Because they are looking for something as a pretext to tag this protester hoodlums. And which I refuse to agree. Hold on, sir. Then in respect to the palliative, sir, I think Mr. Arras is economical with the truth. Here in Edo State, let me focus on my state. Here in Edo State, palliative is shared across board. Whereas, in this same state, we all think of eating, enjoying, but nobody thinks of the IDPs. Now, when you have 100 goods sent to you, and you distributed 95, the total number, when he talks about so many here, ask Mr. Arras, how many food were there? As we speak, if it is the kind of reserve that you saw in Lagos, if it was the same thing that happened in Edo, nobody will be crying amongst those who looted, so I cannot say loot because it belongs to Edo people. They have a right to take it. Nobody will say it did not get to my hand. But as we speak, virtually everybody who went there, some did not get. I want to step. Hold on, I'm coming, Mr. Arras. Out of 100% of these August, so many up to about 97%, 95% were distributed. And I want to state categorically clear that in your ward, if I go to check for video on social media,
I complained.
Yes.
About my ward, I complained about it on air.
Hold on. He has the floor. He has the floor.
Sorry.
In your ward, this same food were distributed. Another question I need to ask, is this COVID-19 over? The government openly came out yesterday to tell you that this same goods that you are talking about came September. This same September. I'm coming, sir. So I'm not here to defend anybody. I have unrelated support. As far as this protest is concerned, let me tell you, in case you are not aware, Osakwenokwodi and a boy called Emmanuel Egbogun, who is a member of a political party, and one Mr. Vijay prevented the burning of Orebody police station. In Adwa police station, myself, one, what's his name? I will remember his name. There were about 4 who prevented the burning down of Adwa police station. Ask yourself a simple question. Do you think rugged men are not in over here? Why didn't this thing happen? We know this infrastructure belongs to us. We must jealously protect it. But the point being made is very clear. If during the elections, you and I and many other campaigners did not accuse your governor of stealing Edo money, will the governor now stealing money?
All right,
gentlemen. If the whole of us refuse in the yes, I'm coming. Because you know where I'm going towards that way.
Gentlemen, both of you promised not to go into politics.
It's already politics.
Right now.
So if the governor did not steal your money, will he not steal your Indomie? No. Beyond that, I've agreed. I won't do that.
Nobody accused the governor of stealing anything.
Nobody accused the governor.
And right now you are entering into the floor that you're not going to enter into.
Good.
Please, let's bring it down.
Thank you very much.
Bring it down.
I just actually wanted to clear the air.
All right.
Now, when it talks to, in fact, let's be sincere to ourselves, outside political affiliation, in as much as I am accusing the Buhari administration of not meeting up to expectation, I will have to stay salute him. This is the first time the federal government have the military power. The IG can deploy. The police have no order to act against protesters. That alone is enough to give him commendation. Not until when hoodlum came into being, but the same hoodlum, I am still accusing the governor, the presidency, that they should explain to Nigerians. Because we saw a video, and I saw the same video.
Okay.
Where security agency were conveying elements to go and take over a peaceful protest that lasted for over 12 days without a single gunshot. And again, what was the role of the government in Edo State? Let's be sincere. The Obaseki administration openly said the commissioner of police and the security agency should protect the protesters. The deputy governor, Felicia Ibu, led a protest. What else do we want? So the truth of the matter is simple. Let us separate fiction, non-fiction, and reality. As far as Edo is concerned,
all right, gentlemen,
everything was in a
We want to go right now for a break. When we return after this break, Aras, you're going to react to what Stan talked about. Don't go anywhere.
Aras is my
but
general.
mind you, whatever they say here is their opinion. It has nothing to do with ITV. We'll be right back. Do stay tuned.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. We are now at the last phase of today's edition of This Morning on ITV. Taking a look at the hashtag ENDSARS protest, restructuring a way out of agitation. But in the course of the discussion, my discussant started bringing out the experience, talking about ways to really prevent these from happening. Gentlemen, I really want us to dive into this, talking about the way forward right now. The youths, they came out genuinely to protests about issues and, of course, events unfolding in the country. Though it started with the ENDSARS protest, all that things that are coming up to show that the youths are not really happy about this. What do you think the government of the day should do to prevent this from happening again?
Thank you. Well, we have heard them. For me, as I told you before, the ENDSARS was just a peak of the beginning of the problem. It was just an avenue to speak the mind, because, people were feeling the police brutality, were feeling the innocent arrest, the unnecessary arrest, extortions, and so many things that were happening, that even got to the last that somebody was killed by SARS. So I think that kicked the mind of the youth to say, come on, what are we doing? We can't just keep quiet. We can't just keep on being oppressed and remain who we are. We are hungry. We have issues with educations. We have issues with our jobs. We have issues after graduating. There are so many things that the youth have been bearing down. But now they have opportunity now to speak it all out. And I think that if the government really wants a peaceful nation and a nation that should grow to the next level, they should take a reconsideration of all these points named out by the youths. For example, the issue of the SARS issue, reform the police in a proper manner, that the police should behave disciplined, and they should also be well paid to take their grudges or the urge to extort, to leave them. Because if they are well paid, I think that aspect will also be shaken. Then you now look at the situation of the National Assembly by the youth have called upon, the House of Rep issue, because I think it is really time that we should start asking questions, that a senator to be receiving 36 million plus in a month. This 36 million naira.
But these are just allegations. You're not sure of the right figure.
I said, as it is said, that a senator receiving like 36 million with allowance and otherwise. I think such amount of money is extremely on the high side. The federal government should really think about it. Because if those money can be halved, and then the other part of the money be put into use to develop youth infrastructures, to develop youth interests in the country, I think it will move forward.
All right.
And I think also the government should also think about bringing in youth into the government in as well. Because if you look at most of the National Assembly, it's just about 5% or 10% that are youths. So I think we should be able to bring like 30%, 40% of the youth, so that they can also share ideas with these old leaders. They can bridge the gap between the old and the young. Then they will this distance, this gap that is there, that has led to this bridge of trust, that have led to the bridge of misunderstanding between the youth and the leaders, will be managed automatically. So I pray to God, the governors on their own, not just to wait for the federal government, the governors have what they can also do for their youth in their individual state. Uses every possible resources. Make sure, pull these people out of the ignorance they are. Pull them out of the suitable situation they are, so that we can also see light in the future.
Thank you so much, Samuel Ehigato, aka Raz. You talked about borrowing a leaf from what Cross River State Governor, they talked about, even Odom, also Emmanuel Odom of Akwa Ibom State. So many governors are making promise already. Even Okowa of Delta State also, he has made a promise to the youth. Stan, your last line in this discussion, the way forward.
Yes, I strongly believe that if you look at the hiccups that took place in the past, we agree to the fact that I, for one, from the initial stage, I refuse to support it. The reason being that, to me, you cannot tell me ENDSARS. ENDSARS. All SARS are policemen. All policemen are no SARS. We must first of all think of ending police brutality in its entirety. Then secondly, if we are calling for the reform of the police, just one stone can actually kill the bird, which is the problem in the police, which is, first, every police should be given the right to be able to address the press.
To address the press?
The press. As of today, an average policeman cannot air his view. He will say, go meet the commissioner of police. The commissioner of police will now approve for the PRO to speak. Where there are secrets in the police, they can't disseminate. When you go to a police station, so person this, we need to go and arrest him. They will say, motor not there. Even if there is motor, they will say no fuel.
So that you must
and there is what we call disobedient to lawful order in the police. They can call an average policeman, go to someone's place, go and arrest the other people there. The policeman will say, yes, sir. No vehicle, nothing, no logistics. And you expect that policeman not to loot from the street to raise funds to go, or you want the policeman to go to his pocket to bring out money. That immediately turned Mr. Arras to ATM to a policeman. It turns Osakwonokodi to an ATM to the policeman. This key issue should be addressed. It's not about the IG coming out to say, we are calling at the IG and do you have logistic support? And again, the National Assembly in itself, whether we like it or not, they are part of the problem of this nation. I know certainly you want to say, comrade, don't say that.
Yeah, yes. I'll come to that because they are not the problem.
Yeah, they are part of the
problem.
problem.
They are meant to represent the people.
What you are supposed to do now is, why did I say so? But Nigerians are not aware of this fact. That this protest that happens, those who were fighting them is not even the presidency itself. When you came out to say, the money of the senator is too high, let them reduce it, you expect those senators to fold their hands. They will attack you back, to turn you to a hoodlum, so that there will be pretext for them to attack you. So the truth of the matter is very simple. When we talk about restructuring, restructuring is not about carrying people, cutting them with glass. Nigerians are tired of bicameral legislature. Do you know that the salary of one senator can be able to pay more than 300 persons 95,000 naira?
Yes.
In a month? And if every average Nigerian, a qualified graduate, is receiving 95,000, even if he has no access to a better car, the 3 times a day meal will be completed. So the truth of the matter is this. In Benin language, sorry to say, I will interpret.
Please interpret.
Yes. Foolish somebody said, they beat my brother, it is not me. He never knew that where they beat his brother, that same place is where they beat him as well. So the point being made is very clear. You might say this is not my problem. After all, you are seeing 3 times a day meal to eat. I want to tell you there is no big man today in this country. Your future is not guaranteed. The reason why I am hailing the youth today, when I noticed that they've diverted from the ENDSARS to end police brutality, fix the economy, I said this is what I want. And I was part and parcel of the peaceful protest.
Thank you.
And we did all we could to prevent them, because all of us are answerable to our actions. In the Mubai houses, we refused to allow the burning of public infrastructure. Because at the end of the day, if there are no policemen in the streets, the armed robber is coming to confront you directly. How many persons can be able to defend themselves?
Thank you.
But the truth is very simple. If police reform must happen, the PRO should not be given the sole prerogative to explain what is happening in the police. Let average policeman speak the same way it is in the United States and anywhere in the world. Then you will know that there are so many secrets in the police that they are hiding from Nigeria.
Thank you so much. Allowing an average policeman to speak air his own view. I think that's another part of police reform, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Very clear
gentlemen, I appreciate a wonderful analysis. You've heard them. It's all about the aftermath of the hashtag ENDSARS protest that led into so many other agitation, getting towards good governance, accountability, you just name it. But don't forget also about the directive given by the IGP. So those people that really went there to hijack the protest, you have to beware, okay? Beware. All right, you've heard them. Whatever you heard them say is our opinion. It has nothing to do with ITV. We'll keep saying that. Well, thanks a lot, gentlemen, for your wonderful analysis. And of course, thank you so much for putting your emotions in check. Yes, yes, yes. No more. Our time is up. Our time is up. Our time is up. Our time is completely up. We'll keep monitoring issues and situation. Bye for now.